I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We welcome Menagerie. Hi.
Hey there.
I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
I am Menagerie, or the Menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
I am a social horror streamer who's been tending a lot more towards the social side lately.
Mm-hmm.
I also run the Queer VTubers feed on Blue Sky, which right now, if you search for VTubers on feeds, is the second one that comes up.
Wow, that's really something. And I definitely want to talk about how you started that up and how quickly it was able to gain that status, because it's very important, I think. But first of all, I want to know how you got started in VTubing.
At the beginning of COVID, I went homeless due to bad relationship and exiting it.
Mm-hmm.
Traveled around the country in a car for nearly a year, wound up sleeping on a friend's couch in a city on lockdown.
Mm.
And someone sent me a video of a VTuber that I didn't like.
Yeah.
But the technology was just like, this is amazing. I bet I could make one of those.
Yeah. And do it better.
And I made one, so what the hell do you do with it?
Now I have all this stuff. Now what?
And that was, it was exactly, well, I've spent a day and a half building this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make some quick little poster things because that's funny.
Yeah.
I should do something with this. And being hyper isolated,
Mm-hmm.
I really quickly turned into a social streamer since I had a background with sex workers.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had some built-in people hanging out and have been going on and off with a couple hiatuses like everyone does ever since.
Yeah. Well, so you were able to get into going from basically isolated and bouncing around to opening up into an entirely new field of people to meet and become social with.
Absolutely. It's been pretty amazing. Made some mistakes early on, which I think everyone does.
Yeah.
But really quickly, within a few months, kind of went, hey, this is great. I can kind of create the environment that would have kept me from having as many problems as I did in life, just for other people. And that's a pretty good thing to do.
Oh, yeah, it is. Absolutely. I talk about a lot when people go from one situation to getting into VTubing where you're not a different person going from one to the next, but you get to create your own narrative going in. The people you meet aren't. It's like going from high school to college in a way. You're still there, but they don't remember the fact that in fourth grade you bent over to pick up a pencil and your pants ripped out.
I mean, to be fair, neither do I.
Boy,
it took me until I was well into my 20s to realize that most people remembered their childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so for you, was it a matter of just not remembering it, or were you just kind of staying away from it as much as possible?
A lot of repressed memory stuff, and I have dissociation issues, which have gotten a lot better in the past few years.
That's good.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I actually have recovered a lot of memories. It's kind of interesting. You're not necessarily sure it was a good thing, but...
Well, maybe and maybe not, but I can tell you that folks like me who end up, losing a lot of things they like to remember think that, boy, it would be great to have those memories suddenly pop up again, until you talk to somebody who doesn't necessarily want those memories to pop up again.
Yep.
I mean,
it's interesting. It's also really weird because most of the things you remember aren't you remember something traumatic or something that really bothered you.
Mm-hmm.
What you remember is, oh right, hey, slip and slides.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I remember every time I played a baseball game and dropped a fly ball, which was a lot actually, but I don't remember just kind of sitting there on the bench and enjoying myself watching the game.
I think most people kind of triage their memories. You've only got so much storage space up there to play with.
Oh, I know that. It may be a pumpkin for a head, but there ain't that much space in it when you get past the rind.
Oh, it's full of seeds and pulp.
It is definitely that. A lot of pulp, especially after radio for 35 years. It fills your head with
Oh,
all
I
sorts of
bet.
stuff. So you got started.
I am getting a bit of echo back from you, by the way.
Oh, well, let me see if I do this. What'll that do? Is that any better?
Well, let me say something and see if I get an echo.
Okay.
Better.
Okay, good. And I hit it with my fist. Um,
Perfect. I usually kick them, but hey.
Yeah, well, it's the fist that's got the swollen hand already, so I can't do much more damage. Um,
Oh,
the
perfect.
you got started and you got off to a pretty good roll. When did you get comfortable enough with yourself to enjoy having to chat with you and enjoy working with other people, or was that very quick?
That was very quick. I did things like corporate training and running teams for BPOs for a living
Mm-hmm.
for a good long time. I was a 911 operator for a bit.
Oh wow.
So the idea of being
I work with them.
scared that someone hears you is kind of weird.
I salute you for that. I work with them all the time, and I know you guys, you folks were just,
Oh, I didn't last long. I was
still,
averaging one attempted unalive, I
yeah,
guess, since you put them on YouTube. Oh,
yeah,
a night and one sexual assault, we'll call it,
and
per week.
yeah, I still, just the fact that you made it as long as you did, I'll give you credit for it because I couldn't do that.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, I could not do that. And if you were in radio, you'd be on the radio. I didn't do that. I didn't
Yeah,
have.
completely different thing.
Yes.
Completely different thing.
Yes.
Moving from running classes and teams to sitting there and talking to a chat
Mhm.
was a big shift, but it
Mhm.
wasn't a, oh God, I'm being perceived type shift.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting you mentioned that. Proceed. Is it easier for you to do it with the model than if you were doing it, say, a camera, or as, coming straight off the job and turning on the microphone and being you with your birth name and everything else?
Yes.
Hmm.
For a very simple reason, though.
Mm.
We carry with our physical bodies a bunch of prejudices and a bunch of assumptions.
True.
Yeah. If I see you on camera, I'm not thinking of looking at the cute little radio PFP that I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at Eric, right?
Unfortunately.
And with that comes your race, your age, your possible financial class, some idea of your social status. And before you say a word, I've gone ahead and made a few assumptions about you.
Oh, well, let's hear them.
Well, I haven't seen you.
Oh. I thought you've already did it before you even talked to me.
I mean, okay, I did do that
you might
because
be.
I have been listening to you since you interviewed Starson.
Yeah, we got to mention that.
Yeah, we will mention that because Starson deserves a little bit of getting some crap for that one. But yeah, my assumptions were that you had worked at some point in talk radio because you have that kind of old style NPR interview voice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a long
and
time.
That
yes.
that's a cultivated thing. You don't just walk out the door with that. No one suddenly picks up the mic and does the "now you know the rest of the story."
The rest of the story.
Voice.
Yes. Yeah.
I used to listen to that in the middle of the night.
That was oh my gosh, I knew it until I tried to think of it. Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey. Yeah.
One time, the radio station I worked for, the first station I worked for, we spent so much money just to get that Paul Harvey from another radio station in town.
Oh, yeah. It was nationally syndicated. It was definitely going to be a thing you paid for.
Oh, yeah. It was the network that was sending it was on the other station. And the other station wasn't running it, but they wouldn't let us have it unless we paid them.
Of course.
Which, of course, our mighty sales staff managed to then not sell. So we lost a bunch of money on it, but we still definitely had it, and our owner was happy, and that's all I cared about.
Wait, so when Paul Harvey was live, your station managed to mess up having Paul Harvey?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I heard that right, because that was like growing up, every adult around me at least knew who Paul Harvey was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was Paul Harvey is one of those folks that is radio. Uh, I mean, he was it. He was the absolute it. Um,
Yeah,
and
that was the voice you thought of for old style talk radio.
oh yeah, yeah, and people would hear it. They'd play it every hour if they could, but we didn't have the network for it, so we had to pay for it, and then they couldn't even sell it. So
Yeah, but we were talking about assumptions. You've
yes,
mentioned that you're about 59.
yeah, oh yeah, 59 exactly.
So that puts you with a different set of political views. It means that, like we were talking about before the interview here,
Yeah,
you're probably not as used to dealing with the modern expression of the queer community.
I'm not, but I'm trying.
I mean, no, that wasn't an insult. Like, I
No.
used to tell people my goal in life is to grow up to be Betty White. Because
Me too.
Betty White, in her 80s and 90s, making sex jokes, drinking wine, and whenever anyone said anything mean about someone that didn't have a reason, just going, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh, you talk about
Amazing person.
oh,
Yeah.
she was amazing. One of the maybe the funniest woman ever. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
She's in the top 2.
And with Insomnia, I mean, I caught the Golden Girls, so
Yeah.
I knew who she was before I grew up and knew who she was.
Well, I remember from being on all the game shows. Password, where her husband was the host of Password, and then of course Mary Tyler Moore's show and all that stuff. It was, and to think that she was even going 30 years before that. It
Yeah.
was amazing stuff.
I will say the one that amazes me, like as far as old radio,
Mhm.
was so my parents used to do drives and I'd be in the back of the car.
Mhm.
So my dad would put on old tapes of things like The Shadow.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it still weirds me out, even though that was really before my time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Darkwing Duck, the old cartoon, came up.
Right.
And he does the, I am the gum on the heel of crime.
Yes.
Or whatever it was, I'm the gum on the shoe of crime that just won't come off.
That's right.
And I'm like, that's The Shadow.
It's the Shadow.
It's The Shadow, because The Shadow had those great statements, where it would come in and it would go, who knows? What was it? Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
The Shadow knows. Brought to you
Yeah,
by.
I still have one of those stuck in my head, which every once in a while, I'll whip out on stream, and everyone kind of responds with, "What the hell are you doing?" Because there's a permanent place in my head for the weed of crime bears bitter fruit.
That's
The
exactly.
Shadow knows.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And then afterwards you get brought to you by Lucky Strike cigarettes. Smoke every day.
And because those things weren't that type of advertising was a thing before I was born.
Yep.
I loved those advertisements too. Those were great.
Oh, the ones on Jack Benny were hilarious. Even though it was Lucky Strike cigarettes, they actually had a little chorus that would come in and sing, and they would do a little bit of a jingle. Then they'd go off kilter, and Jack Benny would throw them off every time.
That is wonderful. It's we do a karaoke thing with the community once a month.
Yeah.
It's bar style karaoke. No one can sing. I'm lying. We have one or two people who can sing, but it's not me. But one of the people tried doing Frank Sinatra one night and was like, I can never find a backing track that matches the version of, the song for Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, that's because Frank Sinatra did every take live.
Yep.
Every recording of Frank Sinatra is different, even on the same song.
Yep. Exactly. It's that, and then there's another voice we talk about. That's he could sing the phone book, and you're like, yeah, sing that Z
When we're
section.
talking about those voices that stick in your head, part of my brain definitely has stored the old "Fly me to the moon and let me." That one is in my head forever.
Oh yeah, I actually in the old station I worked at, we found some of the oldest recordings of Frank Sinatra that had never been played on a little 7-inch discs that were still RCA and I took them out and just listened to them, and the quality was unbelievable. I mean, it was
Oh, that's
nuts.
amazing.
Yeah, and didn't have, and Frank Sinatra wasn't the lead on it. It was the orchestra was the lead
Really?
with Frank Sinatra.
See, I'd love to hear stuff like that.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Um, it's really weird because, like, for all of my streaming and stuff, I listen to modern synth pop, dark wave, industrial music, things like that, which are really kind of more my wheelhouse. But it's
Hmm.
like you don't get into audio
Hmm.
and then go, I'm only going to listen to this one thing.
Oh yeah, you can't. You can't. If you really enjoy music, and maybe some people can focus on a lot of stuff, but I'm all over the place when it comes to it. I mean, um,
Yeah.
we,
I mentioned that I don't really like gospel or country, but
yeah, but you,
even within that, like, hey, give me some old school Hank Williams.
hmm, yep.
Give me a little bit of Patsy Cline. Give me some Johnny Cash. I'm good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and I'll listen to just about any type of music except I'm not a big fan of modern rap because it all sounds the same through a computer, and they whine a lot. And
There is a lot of whining,
yes,
but that's a vocal thing. I mean, there's also mumble rap.
oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of country music after about 1975.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah,
Probably the one like modern country album that I like, and I don't like the person who made it,
hmm.
but I love the album. See, you remember they did a set of Hank Williams and Hank Williams Jr. and then Hank Williams the Third.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, as part of the record deal, because Hank Williams the Third was actually playing punk music,
Right.
and then he started doing country music because he got that deal with the label. Well, the deal was for multiple albums,
Hmm.
with one of them being he made the album and they had to release it. He had to go to court to get it released. And it is old style country, but he's singing about getting drunk and smoking weed. And the label just basically, no, we're not putting.
But you talk about chips off the old blocks.
Yeah, it's like, what do you think Hank Williams and Hank Williams Jr. were doing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're probably it's like, yeah, okay, fine, do what you want, kid. Can we have
Yeah, he's
some?
got a song that the title of is Smoke and Wine, and the main thing is literally, I got a little bit of smoke and a whole lot of wine.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Junior did it. That song "Family Tradition." That's all. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it goes on from generation to generation, evidently. Um, Now you get somebody like George Jones. He just kept going. He didn't
Yeah,
need.
but
He,
the
he didn't
thing for
need.
Hank Williams III, and the reason that one album interests me is because it's very obviously a punk sensibility applied to old country. And that's such a weird thing, and you play it for someone, they just go, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like, well, this is kind of country. Oh my, the lyrics. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
it takes a little while for it to sink in what that lyric is that they're hearing.
yeah, yeah. Well, I could see Johnny Cash doing that because he didn't
I
care.
mean, again, Johnny Cash covered Nine Inch Nails and made it his own.
Oh yeah, he'd have done it, and he'd have flipped a bird while he was doing it. I mean, he did it on his own TV show. He the song Sunday Morning Coming Down. He was supposed to edit the lyrics out because it talked about it had something on there, and he would refuse to do it. He just sang it the way it was on there. He said, "It's my show. Do what you want."
Yeah, there's a certain amount of respect for people who do things like that.
Yeah.
You're probably not familiar,
Mhm.
but there's an old rock and goth band called Typo Negative.
I have not heard them. I have heard of them.
Okay. The lead singer was Peter Steele. Peter Steele was physically a giant. There are a lot of, just like any celebrity from the 90s,
Hmm.
there's a bunch of issues with Peter Steele.
Of course.
Had an amazing voice, though.
Hmm.
But the point where I had respect for him was they released an album called Bloody Kisses, and it moved them from this kind of sludge rock into a very gothic sound, and that album just sold. It sold so much money.
Hmm.
Yeah, it made so much money.
Yeah.
So they released a second album called October Rust that did the same musical style. And he got an interview with a guitar magazine. I can't remember which one. This is when I was young.
Yeah.
And they asked, what do you have to say to people who say that you're selling out? And his response was literally, of course I sold out. It's not like I have medical insurance and I can't do this forever.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't any posing. It wasn't any. Oh well, I'm really now tapping into my inner self, and this is what I really am. No, it's like I need money. This works. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's not like he wasn't making music he wanted to make. The
Yeah.
entire reason they moved to this melodic goth sound originally
Yeah.
was he was bored.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But they did a tour video, and they bring up one of their most popular songs, and he introduces it with, "This is Black Number One. I used to love it. Not anymore, but here you go."
You paid the ticket. Here it is.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
A band that was known for the lead singer wearing a chain for a guitar strap.
Oh.
And then often dropping the guitar anyway.
Yeah. Clang, 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 clang.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've recently, I've met a lot of folks here doing these interviews that are back into goth music, goth type music, and it's kind of got my old. I want to go find my old cassette tapes from the '80s, and because I built up a little bit of a collection back then, and listen to it some more. I sit at work now with the headset on with these 3-hour goth mixes in my ears.
So Bauhaus, probably.
No, Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus.
Oh, I've actually seen Sisters of Mercy.
Oh God, in person?
They did I think it was Sisters of Mercy. Please don't hold me to my memories, by the way. Yeah, did a What's Left of the Band.
Yes.
Type show.
Yeah, there's only two.
Two of them, yeah.
Yeah.
My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Seen them live twice.
Wow. That's really something. That's really getting up there.
Spaced over a decade apart, and that was really weird.
Yeah.
Because
that is
I can't remember the lead singer's name.
Yeah.
But he can't hit the notes for some of the songs anymore.
Yes.
You can't blame him. I mean, some of those songs are him screaming into the mic.
Yeah.
What was really cool, though, was they actually made new arrangements of the songs for him to be able to do.
Well,
instead of him trying to pretend he was still in his 30s.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's
beautiful stuff.
Do something good instead of something good bad. Yeah, that's the best way to do that. I still
saw the Cure back on the Bloodflowers tour.
Yep. I've got. At one point, I had everything the Cure ever released.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
But I made the mistake. I went and saw the Cure after Peter Murphy got on antidepressants.
Oh, that would be Bauhaus.
I mean, no, not really. But
yeah, Peter Murphy.
Peter Murphy is Bauhaus. My brain is dead. Oh God, who was the Cure?
Robert Smith.
Robert Smith.
Yes.
But you look at all the old images of Robert Smith, and he looks like Twiggy, the old model, with but male with extra makeup.
Yeah, and hair all over the place.
Yeah, and he's got Susie and the Banshee's hair going.
Oh yes. There's another one. Get back into.
So I go see them live, and he walks up and still great show.
Yeah.
Absolutely no hitting on the Cure here.
No.
But he got on antidepressants, and he stopped being that person and could actually eat, so he didn't look like that person anymore.
Yeah. Gets a little chubby.
Yeah, my brain looking at the stage going, really? Then he opens his mouth, and all of your worry is cured.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right. That doesn't look like the guy in the Charlotte Sometimes video.
Yeah. This isn't Sorry Wrong Number.
It's not even Let's Go to Bed singer. Who is this guy? And then a forest starts up and you're perfectly fine.
The only one I can think of who has just continued to expand and be that incredible.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Gary Newman, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's familiar with Gary Newman.
Yeah, yeah. I heard his newer stuff. Um,
It's amazing.
My Name is Ruin. Oh my God, that was great.
Yes! I
That
love
was
that song.
that was so
And,
great. The video is awesome, by the way.
and apparently the female vocalist on that is actually his daughter.
Yeah, and in the video it is
Like,
too. It's
yeah, but
and
I'm just like, what the heck? I guess it is a family tradition now.
oh, but I sent him. I actually sent him a note, and he sent a little acknowledgement back. I'm like, I am liking the post-apocalyptic stuff. Keep doing it.
Oh, it's great. And it's got Eastern rhythms running through it, which
Hmm.
is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's it's odd that it took so long for people to kind of get back to him and stuff that he hasn't done that isn't Cars, which is still brilliant. But
Well,
the
I mean, he went through the Cars period, then he
yeah,
did the Numanoid period. Now I don't
yeah.
know what you'd call the current stuff he's doing.
Oh, I'd call it post-apocalyptic. He's
That works pretty well.
yeah, because it was so good. I was listening like what, and then we'll go back and we'll play it again and again and again and again and again. And like this is really brilliant stuff here. I guess it sold pretty good,
I,
and it's Turwin really
yeah,
well.
it's what's amazing is that you can hear the old sound in it and you can hear it evolve in a direction that no one just would have ever expected.
Oh no, not from him. No, some from other folks maybe, but no, it's it was really something to hear. And then to hear the purity of the daughter's voice show up in it and
Yeah,
work
and that
perfectly
is
into it. Oof,
and her voice is really haunting and I've never heard her solo work at all.
now, well, I want to make sure and we talk about the group that you put together on Blue Sky because first of all, I enjoy Blue Sky a lot. I just wanted to say that because it's very tough on the other channel to not get
I
bombarded.
got into Blue Sky when it was still in beta
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and went, wow, this doesn't make me want to like commit harm to myself or others like Twitter does.
Exactly, exactly. It's I'm actually somewhat comfortable over here, which is very very different. But you started.
Yep.
When did you get the group started and why? And tell me about the group.
Was meant to be just a way to find other people to talk to.
Uh-huh.
As Blue Sky started expanding, I realized I need to go ahead and make it an actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it started gaining people to a degree that I had no idea it was going to, so I had to start treating it professionally. I've had a background in running kind of mutual support servers
Right.
because of trans.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean that's that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine reason. And it's and do you feel that this particular medium, and I guess you can throw in Blue Sky with it as it doesn't, but is has actually become a safe spot for folks who are trans?
No.
Oh, I was hoping it would be.
Um, because of the nature of social media,
Mm,
drama and aggressiveness always win.
unfortunately.
And that's not a VTuber thing, that's all social media. If you look at YouTube, the people who are making the big bank on YouTube aren't necessarily even talking about things that they believe. They're talking about things that will create controversy.
Well, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A
With the
lot.
current political climate, being trans creates controversy.
Yes, it does.
Unfortunately, it doesn't create controversy that benefits you so much as it creates controversy that benefits people who want to talk about you.
Very well put. Very well
I'm
put.
trying to avoid getting into heavy politics,
Yeah.
but like,
But
you
it's true.
asked the question.
It's
Now,
absolutely
do I think that being a VTuber is good for trans people? Absolutely.
good.
I think it can be an amazing, just emotional and mental health benefit to be able to, whether you tell people you're trans or not. And I know a couple of YouTubers who are trans and are not out.
Hmm.
But the fact that they can go on and be themselves without having to, do I pass? Do I fit into whatever the current fashion and body shape trope is for popularity?
Right.
and is amazing. For a lot of people, it's the point where they can suddenly exist and exist outside of what they're being told should be the norm.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for. In looking at it from the complete outside, and folks, I'm still not a VTuber. I'm probably not going to be.
I
But
mean, I can help you with that.
yeah, well, it's there's all sorts of
We'll make you a
reasons.
quick Vroid. It's
Yeah,
pretty simple to do. I can walk you through setting up probably VC Face is the simplest one to interact with.
yeah,
All you'd
but
have to do is take a modern phone and drop it there.
yeah,
Be easy.
well, yeah. I like where I am. Thank you though. Uh, the It seems like this is a place where people who are able to present themselves any way they want should be able to present themselves any way they want, and
Yeah.
not get attacked for it or anything like that. I mean, there's a difference if you're saying presenting yourself as a 4-year-old or something and doing content along those lines. I imagine, but
Yeah. That's a whole thing in VTuber culture right now.
yeah. But again, there's a difference between that and some of the other things people get accused of on occasion. But for folks who are unable to be comfortable presenting themselves off of the internet in a way that they want to, or having a lot of trouble doing so, this should be a walk in the park for them.
It's not, though. You internalize that hate and you expect people to come after you.
Mm.
And that people talk about the alt-right pipeline a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an alt-left pipeline, but it works differently.
Mm.
And I am absolutely a leftist. We don't need to go into political details,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a certain thing that happens whenever you are being told that you're wrong your whole life by a large portion of society.
Right.
And then suddenly you find a place where people not only accept you, but cheer you on for being you.
Mm.
And it's very easy to dive in and make that your entire reality. I'm trans and that's everything. No, I'm old and I'm kind of bitchy and I'm neurodivergent and I have a bunch of weird obsessions with music and gaming and art and 3D modeling and tech and
Yeah.
that's who I am.
Yeah. It's more than that. It's the whole package.
Right.
I mean,
But it's very easy when you get that first bit of acceptance to just want that acceptance for that thing that you've been beaten on for your whole life.
Mm. I can understand
And make
it.
that, yeah. I mean, it's an easy thing to see.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were considered the short kid, the ugly kid, but whatever, you had a weird accent, and suddenly people tell you they really love your accent.
Mm.
A lot of people would play up the accent.
Right. Absolutely. Lean into it.
Yeah, there was a joke whenever. So I'm a native Texan. Hi, I'm a native Texan. But so I moved up north, right?
Right.
And people went from going, "You don't sound like a Texan in Texas," because I've cleaned up my accent a lot,
Right.
to people going, "Oh, I love your Texas accent."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "You can tell I have a Texas accent?"
You must have moved to the Midwest because we don't have nothing.
Moved up to Wisconsin for years, and then I was in Oregon for a little over a year.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
But
Wisconsin has their own accent.
Wisconsin has the best accent.
Mm.
As far as traveling, has one of the best accents because they have a couple. It's almost a melting pot of Pacific Northwest accents.
Yep. And
including the Fargo accent.
Yeah, the Fargo is there. You go in the Bear area. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can I get you anything else?
Yeah. You leave your windows up when you're in the Bear area, eh?
And my first week or two in Wisconsin, I kept on seeing there was an old kind of trashy comedy movie called Strange Brew.
Oh yeah. I've seen that a few times. I love those guys.
Oh yeah. So we'd be at a diner or something, and a waitress would come by and have that order, and the first thing that went through my mind is, "You know how to get a free beer, eh?" And I just have to sit there and look at her for a second and like go, nope,
Yeah.
don't do that.
And of course, in their mind, they're waiting for you to say it. Go ahead.
Oh no.
You want to say it?
But by the same token, if we went out to a bar or something,
Yeah.
and I went up to a bar and I ordered a drink, and yeah, go ahead and hand me that drink over there. And suddenly attention from around the room.
Yep. Oh, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's that. I really do. Getting back to the group, and obviously it's gone very well, and it continues to go well.
Because I dissociated myself from it in a large way.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a thing where people make feeds and they make them very obviously for self-promotion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, like, flat out in the guidelines for the Queer VTubers feed is, you don't need to follow me. I don't care if you mute me. You can't block me, because then I can't curate the feed.
Right.
But if you never want to see anything I have to say, fair. We're here for a community. We're here to give you a safe place to talk.
Mm. Yeah, that's very
and I
forward
think that's
thinking
helped
of
a
you,
lot.
actually. Yeah, that's very was it that way at the start, or did you do that later?
As soon as it started getting people that I didn't know joining, I kind of made that decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that type of forward thinking is pretty great.
well, we were talking about before thing of, interviews shouldn't be hyper political, but I am kind of a political person.
Yeah.
So my reactions on things that I'll do or support or whatever do not necessarily reflect the feed in a lot of ways. Like, I won't play a Blizzard game. I won't raid anyone playing a Blizzard game. Same with gacha games.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't apply that to an entire group where that's not the focus.
Right.
This is not the end of the world. People trying to legislate us out of existence. People actually committing hate crimes in real life. Those are important.
Very.
I can decide my level of involvement in things like a gacha game. I find them exploitative. I don't think that's a good idea for an industry. I don't like the idea of basing your industry off of FOMO.
Right.
But what someone else decides to do on that is a minor thing next to the stuff that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that safe space and having people be able to talk to each other, despite having differing opinions on these relatively minor things, is what you have to have a community.
Oh yeah. If you don't want you don't want a hive-minded group of robots. I mean, you can. That's what AI is for. It will create its own hive.
AI was for making Studio Ghibli porn.
Yes. Well, it is now, but I mean, eventually in the future, if it's got to be broken in a little bit. You test the limits before you get started with that. But
My God, AI is a whole different beast.
Well, it's killed announcers. I'll tell you that.
It's killed a bunch of voiceover artists. It's killed, what's it called? Captioners.
Mm-hmm.
And transcribers.
Yep.
There are a couple people on the feed who actually do things like court transcription.
Oh, yeah, that's gone.
And that's their day job, right?
Yeah.
And they're now trying to push, well, what we're going to do instead is hand you what the AI recorded, and then you can fix it.
Exactly.
And it's like, this takes me 3 times as long.
Why don't I just do it right the first time, and then you want to do this?
No one who's a court reporter learned that very specific form of shorthand to keep up.
Yeah.
So that they could be inaccurate.
Yeah, I can tell you this right now, and this is an absolute truth. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you see a YouTube video or any type of video that has an AI announcer, and they're very easy to spot right now, they won't be in the future, but they are now, that product is automatically garbage, because I can speak for announcers and tell you that we will work for a half a cheese sandwich. And if you can't afford a guy to read a line for you, your product is garbage. You're not putting anything into it.
Well, I mean, and there's also a big public perception issue. with AI in general.
Yeah.
And I don't mean people misunderstand what AI is, though they do.
Mhm.
But people want to have, this goes back to the issue with social media. People want to have a black or white view of something,
Right.
right?
Yeah. They don't want to think in
So,
three dimensions.
okay, well, would it be bad if, because I can shift my voice so much,
Mm-hmm.
I go and I trade an AI model off of my own voice in a different register? And then I use it as a text-to-speech engine so that people who are in chat or whatnot can actually say something on stream without it being confused for me or coming out in a robotic voice.
Right. Well, I mean, that's different.
So now you have a question of, well, I'm trying to make accessibility tools, but they use AI.
Right. That's using it as a tool, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But the basis of that voice gen engine is using a bunch of people's voices that never agreed to it. Maybe it's trained on mine now.
Yeah.
But the thing that made that possible was stealing a bunch of other people's work.
Ah. Ethics.
And that's what I mean, though. It's not a black and white conversation.
No. No.
Right now, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
Big game, got touted for being the small studio, which it's not. It's actually owned by a multi-millionaire who
Right.
funded it, who owns 4 companies, and they outsourced a bunch of the animation and stuff to a separate studio in Korea.
Oh.
But they use Gen AI to make posters for the background for the walls.
Oh, jeez.
Well, wait, because this gets more complicated.
Yeah.
So then they tried to replace everything that had Gen AI in it with actual art that someone did, right?
Right.
Before the game released, but they missed 2 posters that were on a wall and someone noticed it.
Oh, God.
So, of course, that got called out because it's really obvious, just like a voice. I can tell whenever I'm talking to a voice AI.
Right.
I can tell whenever I'm looking at AI art in general.
Right.
And Sandfall Studios responded with, oh crap, yeah, we used it to build quick placeholder assets. All those were supposed to be replaced. They released a patch. It's out of the game.
Right.
What else did they use Gen AI for?
Don't know what they use it for.
Yep. Did we use that for a character design?
Probably.
Is it okay that they used it for character design? Because now it's stealing information from other people's IP to do the character design based on their art.
Man, that's some deep water.
And that's what I mean. It's never a black and white conversation. And the nature of social media is let's have controversy, not a discussion.
Well, that's not what we're here for. We're here for discussion on this show. And
yeah.
And I'm gonna.
And that's why we can have this kind of talk.
And I got to have you back because this is not long enough to have a discussion.
I am happy to do this again.
Yes.
Give me a month or so, but yeah, I am more than happy to do this again. You can pick a topic instead of us bouncing over everything.
Well, you know, that's what happens when you talk to a menagerie. You get all over the place. That's.
Yeah, the whole name is actually a pun. So the definition of a menagerie is a bunch of wild animals kept in a cage to be put on display for entertainment.
Yes.
I'm plural. I have voices in my head. So I am very literally a bunch of animals kept in a cage and put on display for entertainment.
And we're going to have all the links for that display in the description for this interview. I thank you so much for coming on. We haven't even got close to discussing everything we can, so we got to do it again. I'll give you some time to recharge.
I don't need any. I'm going to go from this to taking out my dog.
Yeah.
And then tonight we're probably going to do some more Death Stranding on the stream, which is Saturdays are really slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 47, so I'm never going to be a big VTuber.
Well,
I won't play the game. I'm myself, and I love my community, right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. That's the success.
Yeah.
By the way, people
is.
talk about what's your measurement of success. My measurement of success is I've had people tell me that I helped them get through a portion of their life.
Yep.
That's incredible. Whatever else I do in life, that's a win. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you're a win. So take the W.
Well, thank you very much. This has been great. I've really enjoyed it, even though I'm sure this is not what you had in mind.
Nobody wants to know what I have in mind.
Oh,
That's
I mean, if your wife's okay with it.
Yeah, she's okay as long as I'm not in the same room.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, look at MMOs. That's definitely a thing people do.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on.
We'll get you in VR chat. No.
Oh, no. No, my eyes can't handle it. Thank you so much for being on. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Eric. This has been a lot of fun, even if it went a little bit off the rails really quick.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.